Everyone talks about how to make money, how to earn more, how to get a raise, how to start a side hustle, and that's all fine. But nobody talks about what happens after. Because here's the thing that I've noticed personally. Most people are actually terrible at receiving money. And I don't mean that in a complicated way. I mean, money comes in and before they even have a chance to think about it, it's gone. And do you know what the crazy thing is? They'll go and do it again the next time. It doesn't matter how much comes in either. That's the part that's genuinely shocking when you start paying attention to it. People on low incomes do it, people on high incomes do it. People who get a bonus, an inheritance, tax refund, same pattern. More money in, more money out. Nothing changes. I want to talk to you about why that happens and what actually breaks the cycle. Because until you fix how you receive money, it doesn't matter how much you make. The reason most people are bad at this isn't laziness and it's not stupidity. It's that nobody has ever taught them to have a relationship with money. Think about it. You go to school and they teach you maths, history, science, but nobody sits you down and says, here's what happens when money hits your account. Here's how to think about it. Here's what your decisions in the next 48 hours will cost you long term. So people just wing it. They go off instinct. And instinct, when it comes to money, is almost always wrong. Because instinct says, I've got money, I can spend it. Instinct says, I'll sort it out next month. Instinct tells you it's not that much anyways. It won't make a difference. And every single one of those thoughts is the reason why people stay stuck. Because the first time I actually noticed this in myself was when I got a decent chunk of money in at once, more than what I was used to. And my immediate thought process was about what I could buy. Not what I should do with it, not how I can make it work for me, just, either some sneakers, new clothes, anything. And I caught myself. But only because I already started thinking differently about money by that point. Before that, I would have spent it without a second thought and called it a treat. That's not a treat, that's a pattern. And patterns are hard to break when you don't even know you're in one. There's a specific thing that comes to people when their income goes up. And it's so gradual that most people never catch it. It's called a lifestyle creep. You get a pay rise, that's good. But within a few months, you've upgraded your phone, you're eating out more, your subscriptions have quietly multiplied, and somehow you're no more comfortable than you were before. The number went up, but the feeling didn't change. This is one of the most common ways people are bad at receiving money. They let their spending grow automatically with their income instead of making a conscious decision about it. And to be honest with you, I get it. You earn more, you feel like you deserve more. That's a very natural feeling. But there's a difference between rewarding yourself intentionally and just letting your expenses silently expand to absorb everything extra you can make. The people who actually build something, the ones who look back in 5 or 10 years time and have something to show for what they earned, they kept their lifestyle relatively stable as their income grew. They let the gap between what they earn and what they spend widen, and they put that gap to work. That gap is everything. That gap is your future, and most people close it without even realizing they're doing it. When money comes in, whether it's a raise, a bonus, or a good month, the question isn't what can I upgrade? The question should be what do I do with the extra? Those are two completely different mindsets, and one of them builds wealth while the other one builds a more expensive lifestyle. Because to me personally, regular income is one thing, but watch what happens when people receive money in a lump sum. Like I mentioned, like a bonus, tax refund, inheritance, selling something valuable. This is where the pattern really shows itself. Most people treat a lump sum like it doesn't count the same way as regular money, like a free pass. And so it gets spent on something that they've been wanting for a while, like a holiday, iPhone, car upgrade, whatever. And look, I'm not saying that you can never enjoy the money that you receive, but when that's the automatic response every single time, that's the problem. I've seen people receive genuinely life-changing amounts of money and have nothing left from it within a year. Not because they bought one extravagant thing, just because they weren't intentional about it and it slowly disappeared into everyday life. The thing about a lump sum is it represents a real opportunity to change your position, to get ahead in a way that your monthly income alone might not allow you to for years. And when you spend all in the moment it arrives, you're not just spending money, you're spending time, because that's what money in your 20s actually is. It's years of future progress sitting in your account, waiting to be either used well or wasted. The way to move with a lump sum, and this is what I personally do, is to just sit on it for a moment. Don't make any decisions within the first 48 hours for when you receive a lump sum. Let the initial excitement settle, then think clearly about what this money could actually do. Because the version of you that thinks clearly will always make a better call than the version of you that's just excited something came in. Now, this is the part that people don't want to talk about, but it's arguably the most important. A lot of bad financial decisions aren't really from money. They're about how you feel. People spend when they're bored. They spend when they're stressed. They spend to celebrate, to cope, to keep up with what they see other people doing online. And none of those are financial decisions. They're emotional ones. Think about it, just deep it. But they show up in your bank account all the same time. I've done this, you've done this, everyone has. The question is whether you're aware of it happening or not. That's the real game changer. Because when you're not aware of it, spending becomes a default response to feelings. And that's when it becomes a pattern you can't clearly see enough to break. The simple version of fixing this is just pause before you spend, especially on anything significant. Ask yourself honestly, is this something I actually want and I've actually thought about, or am I just reacting to how I feel right now? The one question asked consistently will save you more money than any budget or spreadsheet, because the budget only works if you actually follow it, and you only follow it if you're making a conscious decision rather than an emotional one. So what actually fixes this? Like I've mentioned, I'm going to break it down again for you. First, you have to decide in advance what happens when the money comes in. Not in the moment, in advance. Because in the moment, emotions take over. Set a rule for yourself and stick to it. A percentage that goes into savings or investments automatically. Every single time. Before you see it, before you touch it, before you think about it. Second, stop treating extra money differently to regular money. A bonus is not free money. A refund is not free money. It's money. Treat it the same way you treat your monthly income and it will go a lot further. Third, get comfortable with the gap. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is not something to feel guilty about closing. It's something to be proud of and protective of. The wider the gap, the more options you have. And options, at the end of the day, is what financial freedom actually means. None of this is about being restrictive or boring with your money. It's about being intentional. Spend on what actually matters to you. Just stop spending on everything else automatically. Most people will earn a significant amount of money across their lifetime and have nothing to show for it. Not because they didn't work hard, because they never figured out how to receive it properly. You now know why it happens. The emotional spending, the lifestyle creep, the lump sum trap, the lack of intention. And more importantly, you know what to do instead. The people who get ahead financially aren't always the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who handle what they receive better than anyone else. That's a skill. And just like any skill, you can build it by practicing it. Start now. Trust me, your future self will thank you for it. Drop a comment if this video has helped you. I'll see you guys in the next one.